30 Bales, downtown Hopkins, 11th and Main Street. Check out their menu online right now at 30bales.com. John Haight's about to make fun of me, but I also want to make mention
Play Creole.
Their happy hour from 3 to 6 p.m.
The guy thought it was Sault Ste. Marie.
It's Tuesday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m.
I just want to grab the copy from him and finish this by myself.
But Rookie wondered one time in Duluth if he could smell the salt sea.
I knew I could.
You know what we do? We bring creativity and content to the show. 30bales.com.
You know how Chris sings that, don't you? They play Creole.
I'm just thankful you guys shut your mouths during my award-winning spots.
Boy, you did all right.
Well, no, we were being more respectful to Mike from Schoonover than you.
That's why.
Bert writes, Joe, on the Feb 19 show yesterday, Reverend Christopher touched on something about doing the work at home first, then worry about the rest of the world. It reminded me of a pithy aphorism I have been using for years. That is, everyone wants to save the planet, but no one wants to help with the dishes. I'll cite P.J. O'Rourke for that one. Many local politicians suffer from this affliction. Local politics is not sexy. The vainglory and economics of politics these days does not allow for people to simply say the dirty words and do the dirty work. They all want to go for the immediate money shot. Frankly, I don't give a rat's hindquarters what my mayor thinks about climate change. Change the potholed streets into smoothly paved streets. The Rev also mentioned wanting to get from Cub to church without getting shot. Local politicians would be wise to remember this old saw. All politics is local. Yep. Keep pushing back, Bert. Who said all politics is local? Tip O'Neill. Tip O'Neill.
Abraham Lincoln.
Well, what Bert is alluding to is our old adage that we keep electing people who want to be important and not useful.
Correct.
Yeah. None more evident than Ilhan Omar. We've really opened up something with the beers, the best beers.
Sure.
And Zach writes, I was listening to the Feb 17 podcast and noticed an important beer missing from the list, the washing my car beer. Or as my dad put it before I was old enough to have one myself, the having a beer while supervising the son washing the car beer. I'm writing from the failed academy. Despite their best efforts at ruining college, they haven't yet found a way to ruin beer for us students. Regards, Zach Shear, Georgia Institute of Technology and Woodruff School of Mechanical Engineering, class of 2020.
Fantastic.
Here.
Speaking of beer, on Instagram, somebody named Aaron's at Aaron's Table. Thank you, craft beer breweries, for making my drinking problem seem like a neat hobby.
Tim writes, Joel, my mom ran for St. Paul City Council once. During the all-important DFL endorsement convention, one of her opponents boasted of being a single mom and how tough it was. Then my mom spoke. She did not mention the fact that she raised 4 boys as a single mom. Her opponent was raising 1 kid as a single parent. After the speech, I asked my mom, why didn't you tell them you raised 4 boys and your opponent was getting applause for 1 kid? My mom told me, what does raising kids as a single mom have to do with being qualified to be city council member? I have never since have fallen for the my life is harder than your life BS. Just a random thought after watching much of the debate last night. By the way, the DFL Second Ward Convention did not select a favorite that night. My mom did not go on to the primary, and Dave Thune went on to win. R.I.P. Pat Billstrom Banks. Good luck in the hellhole that used to be one of the greatest cities in the nation, St. Paul. Tim. Yeah. Well, we're declining, that's for sure. John, I wanted to get back to the fire in Becker.
Yes.
And we're in agreement that those of us outside yesterday were not misguided. We were smelling that fire. Why is it now predicted to burn for days and days longer? Are they running out of water in Becker?
I don't know.
I did hear that they're depleting their water supplies to put this thing out.
Well, they had to call in extra fire departments. I know Eden Prairie had to go up to help combat the flames. Mm-hmm. But I'm not sure why it's being predicted to keep burning.
What is it, a junkyard? Northern Metals Recycling Plant?
I think they recycle automobiles.
Yeah, it's crushed up automobiles.
So that's where they go after they've been crushed, I think.
You've seen those they're huge trailer trucks, very tall, and there is an outlet down by Concord where they have a plant as well, or a yard.
They hadn't opened yet. They had moved from North Minneapolis, apparently.
Oh,
and
really?
Basically Minneapolis kicked them out.
Yeah, we remember that.
Yeah, and they had just they'd taken a bunch of stuff there. There were cars piled up and debris. And
John,
so
I was wondering that
wasn't
because I think a lot of the reason why it's getting so much media attention is the residents fought it. They didn't want this thing in Becker. Correct?
Boy. Well, this will close it.
Yeah, probably.
They've got no shot of staying alive after this. I was wrong yesterday about my steel melting point. It's over 2,000 degrees. I went home and looked at my chart.
Well, I don't think these cars are melting.
No, but that's if you want to melt steel and turn it into a puddle, it's a little bit over 2,000.
You have a chart to indicate where things melt.
Hey, nerd!
I do.
Well, but he's got a shop where he does metal work.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
But if you break it down and it's in liquid form, you pour it in a big barrel, you get a scooper, and you make something out of it.
There's not going to be a lot of time spent on Kenny's garage grilling films at your garage.
You know what?
Probably not.
This is the first it's ever been mentioned on the air.
I think they're fantastic.
You just gave it away.
Well, let's do it.
What do you mean he gave it away?
Let's not commit to it yet.
Oh, God.
Because I'm still...
I spent a Saturday with Kenny filming.
I'm still on the fence about the advisability of this. Okay, let's just do it. Let's. If we say it on the air, then we have to commit.
Right.
I'm a commit kind of guy. You know.
Kenny's not into commitment.
This is the first time you've met us that we've said something on the air and haven't followed through.
Okay, that's a good point. Thank you, Chris.
Loophole.
Weren't we supposed to be in Phoenix right now?
Okay, good.
Sanibel?
With that in mind, Such and I thought it would be a lot of fun to start a little side project. What do you call it? Side hustle.
Yeah.
A side hustle where we come out and visit GLers in their shops and their garages, see their cool projects, and interview them and hang out with them, get a cylinder count. We want to see some garage wood, and we're going to do a little garage grilling with you. And hopefully, if things work out, we're going to give you a lovely parting gift. Now, I've already shot my part, and Such and I actually had a ton of fun over at your garage, Joe. We shot yours. And next we're going to do Chris Reaver's house, and I'm guessing that'll take about 30 seconds. Matthew, I think we're just going to drive by.
We're
going to drive by on the street. That's Matthew's, and then we're going to go up to John's and see what he's got cooking. And then we figured since we're asking to see yours, you can see ours first. And then we've got a couple of at least one celebrity lined up. We're going to hopefully go to his shop. And then, Joe, you and I know some guys that hopefully we'll be able to talk our way into their shop. Mm-hmm. And hopefully we'll have GLers submitting their shops and their projects.
You know what he means by garage grilling?
Well, the garage grilling is...
Let me
it's a serious thing.
Well, he said, you got a vise? I said, yeah. I have a big vise. Pulled the vise out. I put it on top of the workbench. He produces a screwdriver about 3 feet long. He stabs the end of a wiener with it. He puts the screwdriver handle in the vise, tightens that so the wiener's just sitting there up in the air, fires up a propane torch, and grills the wiener.
Wow, that's his garage grilling.
And then, to my horror, he ate it.
I'm not going to eat this.
Let me guess.
I'm cooking yours right now.
One
Joe.
half the side was burnt to a crisp, and the other half was still
It
frozen.
was ice cold.
Inside was cold. I said if it was Grunhofer brat, I'd do it. If it was a Grunhofer brat, I could get into it. But that's the kind of grilling we're talking about, and I'm talking about Grunhofer's old-fashioned meats at the north end of Hugo on Highway 61, not only brats, but 14 different kinds of salami, oven-ready, pre-made meatloaf, ham, bacon, burgers, you name it. You're going to find it at Spencer's. It's become the meat palace of the world for GLers.
It's going to be 40 degrees this next week.
It's a grilling weekend.
Yes.
And Anna out in Matamita says, we buy, she flies.
Let's go.
We've got to figure out how to transfer the money. I can't send cash
Venmo.
through the mail. I
Venmo?
can't say cash through that. I don't have any plastic.
It's Anna. We'll just owe her.
Yeah. Right. I'm not sure she'd go for that. New beer cheese brat, pork beer cheese curds, bacon, green onion, cheddar cheese. Line yourself up for the weekend grilling, and while you're there, pick up some jerky and gnaw on that. It'll be gone by the time you get to your vehicle. Because you're all GLers, you're going to be starving to death.
Anna is the Grunhofer mule.
Yeah. There's a movie there somewhere. Right. That's Grunhofer's old-fashioned meats at the north end of Hugo on Highway 61. You can't miss it. Many thanks to Rob McClanahan today.
Man, that was cool.
The 40th anniversary of the U.S. team beating the Soviet Union team, which hadn't lost a game since 1968 in the Olympics, was on Feb 22, 1980. That will be Saturday. That'll be the 40th anniversary. On Monday, the 24th, will be the 40th anniversary of the gold medal game when the U.S. beat Finland for all the marbles.
I was going to look up who do the Vegas Knights play.
Well, while you're looking that up, if you want to support and be part of festivities this weekend, St. Paul has got it's a free parade that I believe you can register. Visit stpaul.com or visit stpaul.org if you want to be part of the festivities. They're going to be going from the morning till the afternoon downtown St. Paul.
They play Florida. Why wouldn't they be playing a historic
But like he
franchise?
said, you're going to that game to see the theatrics that Vegas puts on.
That's true.
They put on quite a show.
But they should have an original 6 in town.
Are we done?
It's a little more than Dionne Warwick singing
Hit the music. Let's wrap
Are we doing this?
I didn't know Dionne Warwick was playing in the Village that Friday night. I would have gone.
What were you doing? I was in my hotel room reading.
No, we didn't. We had a house. We had a house 100 yards from the field.
He would have put on
Star
his
Tribune had a house.
his white dancing shoes, his
Any
leisure suit. And
any
was
chloroform in that
Rowe,
house?
was John Rowe, John Gilbert, me. I'm sure I'm missing some people.
Wait,
we had
wait.
photographers there.
what did you say, Matthew?
Any chloroform in the house?
Oh, God.
What is wrong with you? Could you
That's-
get that
by
in
the way,
France?
those garage grilling at those private events, those are all chloroform free, by the way. We're not going down to see your basement.
What happened?
He's nuts. He has no filter.
You can get that at Fratelloni's.
You can. No, I'm not saying that. No, you cannot. I'm not saying that. You can get other things for your, maybe
off
your
my
sidewalk,
For your garage
melting
grilling.
ice, grit, shovels. Get on it, Fratelloni's. And don't forget, PodMN is where you can listen to all these wonderful Minnesota podcasts. PodMN.com.